Good evening. So tonight we have a Acer that is just dead, and the model number is Acer E1 series V5WE2. So let's have a look at what's wrong. So first things first, I'm gonna plug in my power supply, and nothing happens. There is no light on it, and it doesn't matter if I press the power button, it stays dead. So the keyboard is also messed up. So next step is let's open it up. Unplug this. So on these laptops, somebody was in here as well, as you can see from these little marks on here. These Acer laptops, the keyboard is completely solid, so the only screws on these are in fact in the bottom. So you can take out remove the battery, and let's get this open. Oops, that's one screw down. Although you look at that screws now, somewhere on the floor. That's one screw missing. Let's get that last screw out. Just comes off. This should slide out. They are sometimes quite hard to get out. Remove this. That's strange. Okay, here's another screw over here. I think that's all of the screws. Let's just remove the DVD writer. There's no screws in the bottom. Now we should just be able to gauge the seam. Let's open this up. There are three little cables in this one. Let me just get this removed. I'll show you the three cables now. So it's just a little connector here, this one over here, and this one over here, which is the power button. This one over here is the power button, This is a trackpad, and this one here is the keyboard. What I can see is this had some liquid spill on here. The rest of the board looks clean. Somebody was in here because the solder joint is not factory. So somebody tried to repair this before. So next stage is to remove the board. As you can see, I don't get any voltage on there. Let's try that the connector. And yes, I do have 19 volts on the connector, but no 3.3 volts. So the first thing you need is a main power rail. So I think what we've got here is a short on the main power rail. So we're going to need to take the board out, see if we can find a main power rail, and we take it from there. So let's get this board out. I just dumped the screws on the inside. Need to remove this connector, remove this connector, remove the screw. We've got another screw over here. So I hope this sounds just much better. I've bought a new mic, so I need to remove the Wi-Fi cord as well, and the speaker plug here in the front we need to remove. Plug this. We can soon take the power plug out as well. The mic was plugged out, so somebody was definitely in here. Yeah, it's not the first time this machine is opened. So somebody tried to fix it and couldn't solve the problem. Okay, so this is the other side of the board. This looks, I don't see any liquid damage on here. So I'll get you guys zoomed in and we have a closer look at the board. Let me take this away. Short on the main voltage rail. So after the second MOSFET, you should have the main voltage rail. So I'm going to put this on diode mode. Yep, you can see the meter. Put the red probe on ground. Yeah. So this is before, this has come from the plug, from the DC in jack. There's nothing there. Of the first MOSFET, nothing there. Of the second MOSFET, we have a short. We have a dead short. So we know we have a main voltage rail short. So what I like to do, and this is just to confirm, to see if there's any other main rails that's shorted. So let me pause this. I zoomed you guys out because I need to show you more of the board. So what I'm going to do, and the light is going to mess me around. Let's get the meter in there. So I was going to hook that in there and see. This is the charging. Now this could be the charging. So there's no short there. That's normal for the CPU. That's fine. That's also CPU. Now we got 3 voltage rails here in the bottom. One is RAM, one is 3.3, one is 5 volts. Let's have a look. That's fine. That's fine. Uh-oh. That's not good. Is it the RAM? Is this the RAM line? No, it's not. So this could either be the 5 volt or the 3.3. So what we need to do, let's see if we can find L. See, here's 2 little inductors on this little IC. L32 and L31. Okay, we don't have a short there. If we have a short there, it means that the EC or Super IO chip could be faulty. But we do have a faulty line on this one. So we have a short in the main rail. Yes, we have a short in the main rail. So it could be that this bottom power supply is causing the short on the main rail. So what we need to do is we need to inject some voltage, but let's say only 3 volts. You can actually go down to 1 volt. 1 volt and go 3 amps. So 1 volt 3 amps gives us 3 watts. So we should be able to feel that heats up. So I'm going after the current sensor resistor, and we are pulling 3 amps. Okay, let's see. I felt something that got hot there. It's we can apply water. But we can apply some alcohol. So let's see if we can see what heats up. Yep, that was quick. Is it the chip? Yep, that chip heats up straight away. Yep, that chip heats up straight away. I don't think I'll be able to fix this because I don't have any spares of this chip in stock. Well, not in stock, but at my house at this moment, because we are in lockdown. So this has got some weird number on it. Let's desolder that little connection over there, that PJ401. So that PJ401 is a connector that separates the voltage side from the system side. So we can see this was probably on the generator, on the chip that's faulty. But what I want to see, if we remove that bridge, if the short still remains on the system side. I'm just waiting for the unsolder to heat up. What I'm going to do is I will get a chip I've got these chips in stock. I'm sure I've got it at my shop, but nothing at home. Let's see. That looks nice and clear. It's, yeah, we got no. Let me zoom out. So I desoldered that little jump over there, and if I check on the system side, we have 0.4, which is not a short. But if I check on the side that generates the voltage, we have a short. So what we can do is we can remove that IC. We can remove that little IC and see if our short disappears, to see if there's okay, let's just remove that chip. And try to keep the orientation right, so you can have a look on a microscope. But these chips have the MOSFET built into it, so it only can go one way. So that's removed. Let's see if and our short is gone. So let's see which voltage rail we are missing now. Let's enable a power supply going up to 19 volts. We can attach it to the input voltage. So I'll put the multimeter over here. You only see the first 3 digits, which should be fine. Nothing. Do we have nothing? Obviously nothing. Do we have 19? We do have 19. So that chip is the 3.3 volt chip, and so the fault here is that little chip is gone. Let's check the yeah. So we'll have to get another chip for there. I'll see what I can organize to get another chip. So for now, I can't go any further on this. What I will do is, let's see if we can find the right chip number for that. Let's switch off the soldering iron. We can switch off the hot air station. So I'm going to see if I can find the right chip number for that. So the chip number on that is SY8208B QNC, and the B is important because this generates the 3.5 volt rail. It's normally 3.3. You also get the SY8208C, which is the 5 volt rail, and there's another one. I'm sure there's another one, which is a B and a C, and there's another one of them. So this board only uses those two. Yep, this board only uses two, but there's three of them. I know there's three of them. So the C is the 5 volt, and the B is the 3 volt. So I can't do anything further. I'll maybe see if I can ask my wife to bring me some chips from the shop. I think that's maybe the easiest way of getting these chips. I'm not sure if I have this board here or similar board. Let me have a look. So no luck. I'll have to get that chip. I do have stock, but like I said, we're in lockdown. They added the extra 2 weeks to our lockdown, so we in lockdown from March 26, and we were supposed to end the 16th of April, and it's been extended to the 30th or the 1st of May. But we'll see if it's going to get extended beyond that. We'll have a look. So it will be it for this video. I'll release a part 2 when I get the chip for this board. Please like and subscribe. I must also say thank you to my mate Vince for all the new subscribers. He gave me some new motivation to keep on doing these videos. I was like, it's not going so good, maybe I must stop, but he gave me some motivation. Thanks, my mate Vince. I will keep on doing these videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. But wait, don't go. I actually got the parts for this laptop, so I think let's just finish it up. Let's get it started. Let's get the microscope up and running, and we'll use the microscope to replace that little chip on there, and resolder that thing. I must just make sure if it's a A, B or C. Like I said, there are three different ones: 8208B, 8208C, and 8208D. I think the B is the 5 volt, the D is 1.35 volts. That's for, I think they use these on the RAM modules, and then the C is 3.3. I'm just going to verify that quickly. So I got that completely wrong. The B is the 3.3 volt one. The C is the 5 volt one. So let's not mess this up. So using the B, I'm double checking this. I put the wrong one in, I will blow this board up. You ask why I will blow the board up? It's simple. This little chip's got a LDO. If you don't know what a LDO is, it's a low dropout voltage regulator built into the chip. It's a low dropout regulator built into the chip, and each chip's got their own one. So the C, which they use over here, it's got a 5 volt LDO, and this one's got a 3.3 volts. This 3.3 volts runs through the EC chip. So when the motherboard is off, that LDO is always enabled. There's always 3.3 volts on that LDO. And when the EC tells the machine to switch on, the EC gives the enable to the IC, and it switches on the main 3.3 volts to the motherboard. So let's get under the microscope and get that chip installed. I'm not going to resolder that. I first want to see if this works. So we're under the microscope. Let's get these pads cleaned up. You'll see this is quite an interesting layout of pins. So we just need to apply a little bit of solder on there. That should be enough. Let's just get that cleaned up. Let's get the hot air station going, and I need to find my flux. Where on earth did my flux disappear to? Oh, hiding behind a multimeter. Alright, so let's apply some flux. Let's get our chip out. So on these chips, I wonder if I can get it. There we go. See if we can get those numbers to show. MS4RZ. MS4RZ. Now normally the two important numbers are the first ones. That's how I normally find these chips. That or the data sheet, obviously. So this goes this way around. Oops. This goes this way around. Let me just check that old chip that removed. What is the first numbers? MS. You see, the MS is the important numbers. That tells you what chip it is. It should normally that chips on AliExpress. Right, so we got this in position. We're gonna add some heat to it. Okay. Should flow into place. There we go. Now we can push down, push hard down, so the solder can go underneath the chip. So solder can push out underneath the chip. So you need to push this quite firmly to the board. Now you see all the solder that's squeezed out around the chip. We are going to remove that solder balls around the chip, and all you need is just the iron solder. We can just get rid of those little solder balls around the chip. These are quite neat little chips. I mean, everything is built into the chip. The controller, the MOSFETs. It's quite highly integrated. Integrated chip. Oops. Sorry, I bumped you there. Let's get the... I think that one is off. Which one is off now? Nope, it's not. Right, that looks better. So let's clean this chip up. Rid of all the flux. That looks good. So chips in place. So what we need to do, so get these new chips out of the way. And keep it under a microscope for now. Just looking for my multimeters. You can see there in the right top corner, I've got it on volts. I enable switch on the power supply. So let's see what is the LDO. So pin 5 is the LDO voltage on this little regulator. You just see, I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pin 5 should be that one there. Let's just see if we get, yes, we get our 3.3 volts, as you can see. Do we have main output voltage? Yes. So the laptop should actually be on, but it won't go on because we don't have the bridge that I removed in a previous video. So I'm going to re-bridge that little gap there. Let's try it again. There we go. Let's clean that up. Let's switch this board around. Let's focus it on those LEDs. Okay, so two of them are doubles. So one of these should light up. Let's see if we do get the power on. Let's see if we have main voltage on here. Yes, we do. No power up. Let's check. This is the power switch. Let's see if we have DO 3.3. Let's short out the first and last pin. Short out the first and last pin. Nothing. Switch it off. Switch it back on. Let's try it again. Okay, let me see something quickly. I'm just going to pause this quickly. So I just went to go look up the pin numbers. So they say 5 and 6. Pin 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3. So they reckon these two pins here should have power. So that's ground. And we still don't get nothing. That is concerning. So let's check. We've got 5. But no 3.3. Turn this to diode mode again. But no short there. That's good. Hmm. I'm going to plug in the laptop battery. No, we've got a blue light. Let's switch off the... Yeah, you see we've got a blue light. That's a good sign. Got a blue light. So let me switch you back to the other camera and we take it from there. So our blue light is still on. So what I want to do is is my multimeter frozen? At least connection. Okay, I'm going to keep the meter running. I'll just shrink it down and put it in the top corner. So let's see, do we have 3.3? Yes. Do we have 5? Yes. Do we have, this is supposed to be RAM voltage 1.35, that's correct. Do we have V core? It's higher than what I expect. We have 1.1 PCH voltage, that's charger voltage, which is normal. Oh wait, yeah, 1.7, that could be V core voltage. Let's check out this one, 1.3, that looks good. So it seems to be our board is working. So what we need to do next is let's plug it back into the housing and see if it starts up. Another thing I want to check is plugging in the battery. You can see that lights in the bottom. So that's a charging light. So it's telling that we are charging the battery. And let's try switching it on again. There we go. It's putting half an amp. Battery light is flashing, so either the battery is faulty or the battery is very low. One of the two. But that's not our problem. Our problem was that it would not switch on. So let's get this board back into its casing and power it on and see what happens. Another thing I want to do is whoever tried to solder, maybe I can zoom you guys a little bit in. Oops, too much. That's okay. Stop moving. I'm going to get a better mount for my phone. Whoever desoldered or tried to put this back on here, they didn't do a very good job. Looks like this one pin so add some solder. There we go. Let me show you this. pins are not they bent. There we can see it more from that angle, not lying nice and flat to the board. There we go. So let's clean up those pads. Let's get some alcohol, clean up this flux wherever try to solder the battery on here. Put that back. Let's refocus to there. I know there's a little bit alcohol on the board, that's fine. Let's push down on the battery. That looks much neater. So we can just clean that up. Right, let's get the casing. Okay, so we've got a casing in front of us. Let's get the board back in. Remember to take out that little connector for the fan. It just snaps in there, goes in there, goes there. So move it slightly back. We're plugging in the speakers, plugging in the fan. Yeah, this board is quite the mission to get in because of that little extended board. Let's get the Wi-Fi pulled up. There we go. It's in. Let's get the LCD connector back in. Let's get the mic back in, which somebody unplugged, because I'm sure I did not unplug this. Hopefully it didn't break the wires. Those wires break so easily. We can plug in back this little board, goes to the other side. You plug in the Wi-Fi cord again. Get the wire stuck in underneath again. Right, so tiny little screw is for the Wi-Fi cord. This one I have the silver screw. This one goes here. and these two are the fan screws. If you're wondering how I know this, comes with experience. I've done a couple of these machines already and I actually know the screws off by heart. I actually know a few machine screws off by heart. Are we just going to do the power supply? Yes, let's just do the power supply. It's quick and dirty and easy. Okay, let's see. There we go. We've got fan spin, fan off, and we've got picture. Default boot device is missing or failed. That's a very, very good sign. So, excuse me. Let's get this plugged in. Let's put the keyboard back, the top cover back, and screw everything together and see if it goes into Windows or booting into Windows. Let's switch that off quickly. Let's get this cable back in. It should sit over there. That wire leads in there. It goes there. I hope this keyboard works. I know it's got 3 buttons missing, but to change these keyboards, it's not easy. Oh well, this one's got some screws on the plate. Maybe this one's not that difficult. What I want to do, check out, is the power button. Maybe it's very sticky. I presume they got some liquid in there. So the button is a bit sticky. I'm just going to clean it with some IPA or isopropyl alcohol, which is very hard to find these days. This is just a normal artist's paintbrush. I found them quite nice to clean. They're normally long bristles. I just cut them off nice and short, and they work quite nice for cleaning in between components, legs and stuff like that. That feels much better. I don't think there's anything wrong with the power button. We'll soon find out if there's anything wrong with it. It's screwed in again. And here comes the tricky part. So we need to get these cables back in. So I don't know how much you guys are going to see because this is not easy. We get that first one in and locked in. These other two are extremely difficult. Let's see if I can maybe angle up the laptop I'm not sure how much you guys are going to see, so sorry about that. But this is not an easy job. It's back in. Just close that down. It's used my dodgy power connector. I don't recommend doing this. Please don't do this. I'm just lazy to go have a look at to find my power supply. It seems that we have a power button problem. Let's unplug the keyboard, unplug the trackpad. Replug the keyboard. You do have a power button problem. So, guess the video goes on. Let's take it out of the way. So, what I want to see, get you guys a bit closer and focused in on the button. I'm gonna record the multimeter on the display. So 15. That looks fine. That's interesting. Something doesn't look right over there. Let's get that board under the microscope. Okay, we got it under the microscope. Something doesn't look good. Maybe somebody thought it was the sleep sensor. It was faulty. Let's go to diode mode. Let's get this bit focused. They will need to. We have a dead short over this capacitor. I don't think that is right. Somebody definitely played around here. So get some flux and I'll fix up that this is not a transistor. This is if you see it's marked as U1, that's a little sleep sensor. So let's have a look. If I short over that capacitor, it's gone now. Yes, it is. But now there's something more puzzling me. Yes. Let's get that sleep sensor. It's actually a Hall effect sensor, which means it checks this little magnet in the screen, and it actually detects if that magnet is close or not. Now the part that bothers me is that I need to clean this up quickly. I'll explain you what's bothering me on this. So and normally there's no schematics for this either, so I need something to point with. Let's get my other tweezer. So you got VCC ground, and then you got a signal pin. Now that signal either goes high or low depending on the system, and it tells the laptop to switch off the LCD or switch on the LCD. I do see there is a wire here. I don't know if there is supposed to be any resistors. It doesn't look like it. These solder joints looks original. I don't think there was anything here. Let's see if those pads are ground or positive. So What bothers me is the resistor goes here, so maybe this resistor is a pull-up. Nope, it's not for there. I think this could be ground. What's that, VCC? Okay, so this side is ground. No ground there. We do have ground here. Do we have VCC here? Nothing here. Nothing there. So this is a bit puzzling. Or 1C2 or 5. Okay, I'm going to pause the video here. What I'm going to do quickly is see if we can find this board online, and then also see if there's any components on those two pins. That's going to be the easiest way. So I had a look online. Now look for this board number that's here in the back, and there are no parts on these pads, so we are safe to say that there's no parts required for that. So we need to solder that on straight. To use my smaller iron solder to do this job. Get the pad, get the solder on there. I'll take my tweezer. Get it nicely centered up. Make sure it's nice and flush against the board. So I don't know what they tried to do here, but they made more of a mess than anything else. It looks much better. It's lighter fluid. Some marks, it doesn't want to come off with the alcohol. So lighter fluid is slightly stronger than the alcohol. It lasts a little bit longer, and I normally wash the whole board off with alcohol again. And I could just dry it off. This mat needs to get a good clean. So let's switch back to the main camera and put the board back and see what happens. So after going through the board again, that little power button killed my chip. So I had to replace the chip again. So that little short is actually the thing that caused the whole problem to start off with. So it's definitely that power button that caused it. Replace the chip, board's working now again. So hopefully we can assemble it now and see if it works. So I've got the board semi inserted, semi inserted. Oh, it's getting late. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Right, it's in. Let's get the fan plug in. Can't believe that stupid fault that somebody did on this board caused the chip to die. This board cost me 2 chips. Speaker plug back in again. So on the power button there's always live 3.3 volts, and that cap was shorting the 3.3 volts always live out and killing the chip. So hopefully we got the orange light. So let's see. We got the fan spinning and we have live. So it was that little power button. Let's put the top case back. Let's get a trackpad back. It's plugged in. Sorry you guys can't see this, but it's quite difficult to form this part. That's the keyboard in. Power button is in. See if the power button works. Yep, power button works. Switch it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off. Right, let's get some screws in this thing. So it's more. I still have to go find that screw I dropped. Can't believe that power button blew up my chip. If somebody else messed around with the board, it cost me a chip. Okay, so here's one shorter screw. That's for the DVD writer. The rest of them are all 8mm long. Maybe I didn't told you guys. There was one screw missing in this corner, so I will get the screw for it. So you're gonna have short one screw. Let's get the hard drive back in. It's actually supposed to be another screw here. So I'm going to take a screw off from another part of the laptop, screw it in there. So I've got the easier place to, so it's actually two screws missing. So it's one's on the floor and then there's two missing. So let's power this back on. We've got the orange light, power button, there's nothing wrong. Got the Acer logo and automatic, prepare automatic repair. Wonderful. I'll just put this part on a time lapse for you guys. This is only a Celeron, so it's not a very fast machine either. Repairing disk errors, this might take over an hour. So how I detected that that chip is blown again, it wasn't outputting any voltage, but it was I had the enable line enabled and it was 19 volts, but there was no output on it. So it must be the chip. There's no other reason for it. Hmm. It's interesting. It just switches off. So we can get into the BIOS. That's strange. Let's see if we can get this laptop into the BIOS. Hmm. Oh, can't get it into the BIOS. Hmm. Let's see. If removing the hard drive, this is the same switching off problem. Because it could be a faulty hard drive as well. Let's see. So it's still staying on, and then switch it off. See again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I still think that power button is not right. That power button is leaky. I think it thinks, so you have to push it quite hard. We keep it on 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so this power button is faulty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if it will go on again. Yeah, you see, I think this was the original fault with this laptop. It will only power on for 5 seconds and switch off. So that power button is faulty. So you'll have to change that out. But for now, that's enough for one night at nearly 4 o'clock in the morning. So see you in a few hours. We get this sorted. So it's the next day, and the previous, well, in the morning it was laptop was switching off the whole time. So I unscrewed the case again and unplugged the power button, and it would run continuously, no problem. But as soon as I plug in the power button, it will switch off every 5 seconds, which means the power button is faulty. So what I'm going to do is replace the power button. So this is the power button. So let's remove it and see if we can find another one to replace it with. Button's also a bit sticky. I think what I'm going to do is work some alcohol in it as well. And then anyway replace the button, because I've got a suspicion that the button is actually sticky itself, or it's got some resistance to it. So the EC checks if the button is pressed or held down, and I've got an idea that thinks the button is held down continuously. So let's take that out of the way. Let's refocus the camera. So what we need to do is remove the power button, but first I need to source another power button. So let me see if I can find one. Okay, so I found a board with a power button. There we go. So we're going to remove this button and use it for the power switch. So what we need to do to remove the button is just get this cable. Sorry about that. Let's get the cable out of the way. Let's get the heat on, and I'm going to heat the board from the bottom to get the button off. These buttons heating from the top, they don't fare so well. Let me get you a bit closer. So that's the button. Just try to keep it in focus. It takes a bit of heat. There we go. It's off. So the old one is quite simple. We can just take some heat it from the top. We don't care about this button. You can open it and clean it, but it's not worth it. You see how there's bubbles, and I can smell coffee. So they mixed coffee on this button. So we can put that in the dumpster. Let's get our soldering iron back on, and I think putting this back, I'm going to use the microscope. So let me switch to a microscope. Okay, so we're under the microscope. First thing first is to get all the old solder off the button. Okay, let's try to stay in shot. Apply some alcohol to it. So this stain is quite difficult. I'm going to switch to some lighter fluid. That shouldn't do any damage to the switch. So let's place the switch in position. And position is quite important on these switches, because they have to line up back with the have to line up with the power button. I'm just looking for my flux again. I'm not happy with these pads. Add some solder to it. Add some flux to it, solder, what I'm talking about. No, it looks much better. Not worried about those solder points there. A bit out of focus. Okay, now the switch got some solder in the bottom, so I'm just going to clean those pads up. We want the switch to sit nice and flat on the power button. Okay, on the PCB. Let's get that back. Let's get a little bit of this flux off. That looks better. Much better. Right. So what we need to do, what I do is apply solder to one pin, and I'll line up the switch like that. Apply solder to the second pin. And I'll push down on the switch. So the first pin we soldered, we'll add some flux there. Let's do the other two. This is going to be more difficult because these two pads is actually ground pads and they would actually want some more heat. So I'm just going to apply some solder to it. And here I don't want to apply too much flux. Just a dab on every pin. And then on the anchoring points as well. So now we can do this one. That one is soldered. You can add a little bit more flux. A little bit more solder to this pin. Oh. struggling to get underneath this pin, what we can do is just move that slightly up. Some flux. There we go. Clean that joint up. That's nicely soldered now. We can do the 2 anchor points. These 2 points is just to give extra strength to the switch. This soldering iron tip is too weak. Let's change my tip out. Do something that will fit better in there. Let's see, what do we have? Wait till we get up to temperature. Switch doesn't want to play along. There we go. I'll clean that up now. Okay, that looks good. Let's clean up messy pad there. Now we can clean up all this. That's it. So next step is this some more cleaning. Alright, so that's soldered. So let's put it back in and see what happens. Alright, let's get this power switch back. Hopefully that sorts the problem. Let's get the laptop back on here. Let's get the microscope out of the way. So power button back. Keyboard is back. And trackpad is back. Let's close this down again. As you get your guys higher, so we can check the screen and see if it still switches off after every 5 seconds. Okay, let's get this back. Let's get this back together again. So I'm still missing 2 screws, which I will find and unscrew them in. Thanks for watching. We can switch this on for last time. Let me know in the comments if you want more explanation how power rails work on laptops. I think it would make quite a good video if you guys are interested in exactly how it works and how the main power rails, charging rails, all your different power rails all fits together and how to get it to work. So let me know down in the comments below if you guys need to or want me to make a video for that, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.